Hi everyone, Happy New Year and welcome to the first edition of the Bison Video Blog for 2016, our 7th year of bringing video blogs to you. It's crazy. Along with Jeff Kolpack, I'm Izzo. Game week is finally here as North Dakota State will face Jacksonville State for the FCS Championship on Saturday in Frisco, Texas. You're all rested up from the holidays. You've been poring over film and tape and all sorts of stats. What stands out to you from Jacksonville State right off the hop?
First, quick, when was the semifinal? Quick.
December 18th, if I remember.
That's a long time ago,
a long
wasn't
time
it?
ago.
And,
Last year, even.
Well, actually, and maybe we'll get to this, but when Chris Kleiman in his press conference today just reiterated how he thought it was too long of a break. He'd rather much prefer 2 weeks instead of the 3-week break it is now. He said you don't need that much time to prepare for a team, and frankly, you'd almost rather have the kids get a week off after the title game. Of course, I mean, he's not going to say, feel sorry for us. I mean, that's not what he was talking about. But it is a long time, but that's bowl season for you, right?
Now, it may not be the worst thing ever if they had 3 weeks to see who their starting quarterback is going to be. Now, we did not get an answer on that, and I didn't expect one. I know you didn't either. When asked the question of who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Bison on Saturday, Carson Wentz is practicing on a limited basis, what we're told. He has a doctor's appointment today, Monday. And from what Kleiman told us, we do not know who the quarterback will be until Saturday at 11 a.m., it looks like.
The fact that number 11 has a doctor's appointment today, it makes me a little suspicious of how much available he will be. Is this something that will clear him? If he hasn't really been fully practice cleared, I just cannot see him playing at all. But, or if this something is just to confirm something earlier, then perhaps. But the fact that he's still making a visit to the doctor today has me a little, like I say, that's not a good sign.
It's a red flag.
It's a total red flag.
Is this just subterfuge, though, from what Kleiman has done before? And obviously, the week of the Northern Iowa game, where we found out that Wentz was back practicing and was going to see how they progressed through the week, and obviously he didn't play that week.
Well, what's a doctor's appointment? Is it a chiropractic appointment? Is he going to a psychologist? Is he a therapy thing? I mean, you're making the assumption that it's going as a wrist doctor.
Now, for Jacksonville State also, they are in full preparation, I assume, to prepare for number 11 and also prepare for this guy, obviously with Easton Stick, who's quarterbacked the last 8 games.
I think it's a tough dual prep for the Jacksonville coaching staff because there are 2 different styles with this quarterback scheme. Stick is more the runner, more the power guy, who's not quite the thrower, of course, that Wentz is, but although that was a nice little zip.
Pretty good.
But he's quarterback for team to 8 straight wins. So do you start him just on that?
I do. I think I'm
now
with you.
Now you flopped.
No, because this doctor's appointment now is throwing a red flag and kind of a wrench into what I was thinking. And I was always of the mindset, if Wentz was 100% healthy and had practiced the entire time, he's the guy, he's the starting quarterback. But I don't know if we're going to know this, and I think you hit the nail on the head on Mike McFeely's show earlier today. We'll know at about 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon exactly what Carson progressed at. But if he's not, then Easton Stick has to start the football game. But Wentz ready to go.
I was in the camp, too. I was in the camp that I thought Carson Wentz would be the starting quarterback just because of the length of time of the injury.
It
was mid-October. It was mid-October when he got hurt. And actually, 13 weeks would be the title game. So I thought perhaps he'd probably have a good chance of practicing full go for 3 weeks. And we don't know if that's been the case. And if there's a doctor's appointment today, I don't know if he's been practicing full go for 3 weeks.
Guess that's one of the questions we'll continue to have asked and see if we can get an answer by Saturday, unless the Kolpack's got the binoculars out. We'll find out during about 10:30, right after the radio show wraps up, of who's going to be the starting quarterback for the Bison. Let's talk about the opponent, Jacksonville State. First appearance in the FCS championship game. This is a dynamite team, 13-1 on the year. John Gross is the head coach in his second year with the Gamecocks. Led them to the FCS playoffs last year. Lost in the opening round to Sam Houston State. Josh Barge is one of their dynamic receivers, 90 receptions on the year. They are led by a tremendous running back in Tremaine Pope, and their quarterback, Eli Jenkins, was an All-American this year.
Well, what else is there? Offensive line evidently is pretty good, too, if Pope's getting that many yards. And, they just got some weapons, and they went through their Ohio Valley like a hot knife through butter. I think Jenkins is a dynamite quarterback. Like you said, we've used that word before. To me, the word that stands out is just explosive. It's just an explosive offense. And they can score from anywhere on the field. you have that ability to get to the perimeter. And when you have that, and if you can get inside on some running games, that's a tough combination to stop.
They average 41 a game, Kolpack, only giving up 19 points per game. And now everyone's going to throw out this entire week, and we're going to get asked it as well, that the competition is not to the level of the Missouri Valley. And the Ohio Valley isn't. And people that watch the blog know that. So how much do we take off of that? Because they still have to beat the competition, and they did. They whipped everybody this year for the most part.
And not to mention that game with Auburn into overtime. I don't think we'll know. I just don't think you can predict how a team from perhaps a less physical conference will match up from a team with a more physical conference. How do you predict that? I mean, how do you figure that out on film on how explosive you are at middle guard or how explosive you are at right guard? I just don't. We won't know that till at least a quarter on Saturday.
Their speed is also very, very impressive, and they've got it at every position. You mentioned it. I look, though, at their defensive line. I asked Chris Kleiman this as well. He said that's the most aggressive unit probably they're going to see all year. There are 4 guys that were playing at SEC schools at one time that are now all playing for the Gamecocks.
And those guys obviously have some talent and some ability and some explosiveness. But I think what sets them apart from, say, the Richmond defensive line, Richmond is more of a read and react. So when the ball is hiked, they maybe take a step up. They wouldn't try to gouge you right away up the middle. And that's what Jacksonville State does. They'll play out just slightly off the line, and when the ball is snapped, they'll try to be aggressive and hit you and go right at you.
Couple other newsy things we did find out. Cam Peterson will be the kicker for the Bison in the championship game. Ben LeComp will just handle punting. Surprised there or not so much after Peterson has missed his last 6 kicks?
Not surprised, just I think because, Ben wasn't exactly lighting it on fire either on the place kicking. He hadn't done it all year.
Yeah.
I'd say if he had more attempts all year, he might give him the nod. But I think they did some things in practice to put a little pressure on Cam Peterson, and evidently he produced.
They want him to be the guy. Obviously, I mean, being a true freshman, who knows what recruiting will hold down the road. But if he can develop to be a quality, and he was during the middle of the season, Jeff. People forget he had a huge field goal against Youngstown State and earlier in the season as well, where he was kicking outside at Southern Illinois, where he was very good. That they're gonna need him somewhere down the road, I believe.
And a lot of people are saying if this game's going to come down to a field goal, Jacksonville's field goal kicker is coming in 8 in a row. So if you look at those stats, although his overall percentage isn't great, he's been more productive late in the year, where the NDSU kicker is not.
I look at this Bison team, and this is as healthy as they've been in Frisco, maybe in the entire time of them going there. I look back 2012 when Colton Hegel and Levon Perry. We interviewed them, remember, because they weren't playing. 2013 was Grant Olson. Last year was Travis Beck. Outside of Carson Wentz, everybody else on this team looks like they're good to go.
So what you're saying in our pregame show, the Sanford medical report is not going to be
quick.
It's going to be a pretty quick report.
What do you make of that, though?
Well, it's a good sign for NDSU, obviously, when, I thought Grant Olson was a big thing, but they had players to fill in.
We thought Travis Beck was a big thing.
But they had players. Nick DeLuca really stepped in a fine shape. Now with just the quarterback, you have Easton Stick, who
stepped in
fine. So I guess that's a trademark of a good program where you have marquee players that have been out, but you really haven't noticed it.
We're not going to give away all the kitchen secrets here yet because we've got a full week of coverage. Live down in Frisco begins on Wednesday. The Bison Video Blog will be there. I believe Big E will be rejoining us.
Is he in the country? Do we know where he's at?
Where in the world is Carmen San Diego field trip? He'll be rejoining us on Wednesday down there. Mike McFeely will be as well. Kolpack and Izzo will be on live Saturday morning. That's after our Media Blog pregame show, which will be live on WDAY Saturday morning from 8 to 8:30. That's preceded by Fargo to Frisco, live on WDAY from 6:30 to 7 p.m. on Friday night. So bring your best suit, all right?
I'll have to find one first.
Kolpack got raked over the coals for that. He dresses well, folks. We'll see you on Wednesday from Frisco.